Last week, on I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World and became unrivaled in the real world too, Youya found a door that granted him access to another world. He obtained power beyond his wildest dreams. He realized he could bring it with him to the real world. And when he went to school, his peers no longer recognized him. It's from this point that we begin episode 2. We pick up right where episode 1 left off, with a limo parked outside the school, and the girl we met in episode 1 approaching Youya. We find out her name is Kaori, and that she's here to offer him a spot at the academy her father is on the board of, as a thank you for Youya saving her life. Youya is stunned, and starts telling her he's not worthy, that he didn't do anything a normal person wouldn't have done. To which Kaori counters by saying, that's the point. Much like our society today, most people were just looking the other way. Heroism isn't necessarily just getting the job done. It's being able and willing to put your ass on the line for another person, with no intent of benefit to yourself when you do that. Youya was only able to take a beating, but in deciding that it would be him getting the shit knocked out of him, rather than Kaori being assaulted, he rose to the challenge. We then see the two pieces of human garbage, who are supposed to be his siblings, try to say that if he won't take the position, that they will. And watching Kaori say, hell no, to that was very satisfying. Usually, a troubling sibling relationship has some kind of complexity, but these two just seem like they're pure evil from word go, and I can't summon a shred of empathy for either of them. I like the fact that Youya needs to be coaxed into accepting what's being offered. Much like Gandalf convinces Bilbo or Frodo that they need to go on an adventure, Kaori's father does the same for Youya, in encouraging him to attend the new school. I wonder if the father's intentions are as benevolent as his daughter's, or if we'll later come to find that he has an ulterior motive. He had Youya investigated. Is there a chance he knows about the door? As the episode continues, it does a good job at using a 2 steps forward, 2 steps back approach in how Youya's day goes. He stands paralyzed at the classroom door. He's overwhelmed by the silence when he introduces himself to the class. He gets overwhelmed as people approach him at lunch. I like the fact that they're showing him going through the growing pains of dealing with his new reality, rather than relying on the idea that, you're hot now, so everything's okay, which would have been boring and lame. We get a cute after-school scene with Youya and Kaori when they go out to have food together. As this is a male-focused isekai, I'm not sure what kind of overall setup we're going to get here, but I like their interactions and how each of them, Youya because of being bullied and Kaori by being isolated due to her father's position, have something to work through, and something each can potentially help the other with. I also like the fact that Youya considered the fear that if he eats stuff like he did this afternoon, there's a possibility he could become fat again, which is followed swiftly by him questioning if everything happening to him would fall apart if that happened. It's such a relatable and vulnerable line of thought, and I'm really glad the mangaka thought to include it. Finally, we see Youya go back to the isekai world and have the courage to leave his cottage for the first time. I like how the confidence he's been building reflects back on this world, as if the things he is doing in each world are gradually strengthening him, step by step, as a person. As an aside, his new armor is red and black, and very badass. I approve. We find a girl slumped against a tree, with a goblin about to attack her. Youya isn't totally sure he can take the thing on, but he says screw it and jumps into the fray. With some quick thinking, and a good use of archery, he prevails. He approaches the girl, but then hides when he hears others coming. We find out that the girl he has saved is named Lexia, and it looks like she had people who were looking for her. I'm curious to see what role she'll play going forward. With episode 2 complete, I continue to be very impressed with this series. I like Youya's growth as a character, the gradual introduction of side characters, and the middle finger to his shitty family. I look forward to seeing what will happen in episode 3. So, did you watch this week's episode of I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World and became unrivaled in the real world too? What did you think? Feel free to leave a comment and let me know. If you haven't started the series yet, it's available on Crunchyroll. Thanks for discussing this week's episode with me. I'll catch you in the next video.